We will be looking at some of the papers across the country, headlines first, and in the second half of the show, we will come back for the details of the story. So we start off immediately with the Guardian newspaper. The headline story here reads, minimum wage execution, uncertainty over minimum wage execution as state governments falter. Moving from that to another story. PDP crisis deepens. Mohammed takes charge, demands swift action. And vacation, Eagles land in Benghazi as crisis hit Libya air free. That's for some sports stories. Don't forget that the Super Eagles won the first leg 1-0 in the Godswill Pabio Stadium. And also, NICOM to roll out InsurTech operation guidelines. Obasanjo taxed leaders on judicious use of resources. Ayedatiwa using 73,000 naira minimum wage to mask colonial failure, says Ondo PDP. The politics have resumed. And the U.S. backing Africa's quest for 2 permanent seats at the United Nations Security Council, says Nigeria's foreign minister. And the NDLEA seizes 25 billion naira drugs in nationwide crackdown, arrests suspect. And NAS considering executive bill to raise VAT from 7.5% to 10%. Niger, Togo, Benin Republic owe Nigeria $5.79 million on electricity bill. And police arrest suspect who lured strangled woman to death in Nasarawa State. All right, we move on to the Tribune newspaper. Says the headline here, PDP blasts Fubara, says he rejected offer to control Rivers structure. And PDP crisis deepens as more bigwigs backs sacking of Damagu. And in Sokoto State, bandits hire. Move on to this still on the PDP crisis. Yayari Mohammed takes over as acting national chairman. The Punch newspaper is next. Imports duty, federal government may ground 60 private jets today. Wow. 2 decades after EFCC faces government's legal battle. Obaseki Pueblo's transition panels discuss handover today. Federal government introduces tax payment in installments. Cooking gas price jumps to 1,500 naira per kilogram. Father petitions Senate over daughters withheld UMTE result. God never planned suffering for Nigerians, Obasanjo. Senate plans arrest warrant for NNPCL chiefs and head of service. Benin, Togo owe Nigeria $5.7 million electricity debt. And PDP crisis, Damagu camp, anti-Wike governors may clash today. The Nation newspaper is next, and we're starting with the story. 34 fighter jets coming to join terrorism battle. Troops destroy 37 illegal refineries in Niger Delta. And UNHRC election, Nigeria wasn't snubbed, didn't contest his presidency. Tinubu directs NDDC to fix Warri Benin section of the East-West Road. Tinubu to Nigerians, pray for your country and your leaders. Alright, the leadership is next and leads with the UN story. Nigeria not snubbed in UN Human Rights Council elections presidency. And we move on to Thursday newspaper. Mohammed accepts to replace Damagun as PDP crisis deepens. Keep faith with Tinubu, Toga appeals to Nigerians. Still staying with this day newspaper, Local Buri says federal government targets 40,000 barrels per day from NNPC. Aftermath of COVID intervention, 70% of oxygen equipment lying waste. This is according to a global fund. Tight fund to intervene in provision of infrastructure in New Aviation Varsity. And we move on to Daily Trust newspaper, and it says, complete fight against banditry before returning to barracks, Army tells officers. And on the Borno flood, FIRS condoles family, provides varsity with infrastructure. Kano State House of Assembly urges swift action against cholera outbreak. And on food security, Senate panel urges FG to make agri studies compulsory in schools. Move on to the Vanguard newspaper now. DSS releases 2 End Bad Governance protesters in Kaduna. Oh, and Edo government writes Obekpolo APC on formation of transition team. And there's this rather sad story here on the sporting scene. Ex-Green Eagle goalkeeper Peter Fregene is dead. Remember Peter Fregene, the one we used to call the Flying Cat? He's been ill for quite a while now. Alright, so those are the headlines from across the papers this morning. We'll take a short break, and when we return, Mr. Salma Salam is standing by, and he will help us make sense of some of the stories in the second half of the show. It's still Newspaper Review on Citizen 93.7. We will be back in a moment. Please don't go away.
up. Reach out. Speak up. Speak out. You are the voice of a new generation. And this is your station. Talk Radio 93.
Tinubu's administration. It is geared towards renewing the hopes of Nigerians for a better future through its policies, projects, and programs that are aimed towards lifting the GDP and economic growth of the nation by improving standard of living of the average Nigerian. The Renewed Hope Agenda Radio is poised to promote all of the above while enlightening Nigerians as well. Join us every Tuesday afternoon, 2 p.m. on Citizen FM Radio, 93.7, Labor House, Central Business District, Abuja. Renewed Hope Agenda Radio on 93.7 FM. The future starts today.
We believe in this nation, and we know we'll get there. We'll all we have, we'll defend.
All right, thank you so much for staying tuned. It's still Citizen 93.7 FM here in Abuja. And this is the part where we look at some of the stories in details. An in-house analyst is seated and ready for us. Mr. Salman Salami, good morning, sir.
Very good morning to you, Lawrence.
Yes, Mr. Salami is the Chief Operating Officer, Citizen 93.7 FM, and as usual, he will be bringing his wealth of experience to help us understand some of the stories better. Once again, welcome, Mr. Salami.
It's a pleasure being here.
All right, we start off with this story on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Uncertainty over minimum wage execution as state governments falter. We understand that over 2 months after the minimum wage law was passed, federal and state governments continue to dilly-dally on its implementation, even as governors have embarked on another level of negotiation with state union leaders for a possible compromise. This comes as the government has broken the truce with organized labor and increased the price of fuel by over 80%. State governments at the same time are flirting with the possibility of getting away with a lower minimum wage, aligning with the debate on decentralized minimum wage setting. Whereas there is hope the Southeast states could start implementation soon, some of the governors and state labor unions are neck-deep in negotiations for possible compromise, which could mean compelling workers to accept less than 70,000 naira monthly wage. Mr. Salami.
Very good morning to you, our super citizen listeners. And let us start with the idea of what exactly is true federalism. What amounts to true federalism? We have been saying these times and times over that we should be very realistic in our discussions, in our negotiations, and indeed in our aspirations. What exactly am I saying? A state like Jigawa, that we all know that is not particularly buoyant, Dito Yobe State. If, and this is a big IF, the state executive really wants to prioritize the people, they can still pay 70,000. What am I really saying? There is no state in Nigeria that cannot pay the minimum wage, which to a large extent cannot even take anybody home, given the situation now. And for the state executives to begin to negotiate with the labor in their respective states as to how to agree on a lower wage is to me not only insensitive but inhuman. 70,000 per month in the present day Nigeria cannot take anybody home. To now say that yes, we cannot pay, let us negotiate so that we pay less, is to me is the height of insensitivity. But what can we do? I pray we have not reached a cul-de-sac.
All right, Mr. Salami, but for me, my worry is that the minimum wage is the law of the country as we speak. It was assented to by the president. So what are we negotiating about? What's the negotiation about? To circumvent the law or not to obey the law? I don't know what the negotiation is all about. I think this negotiation should have taken place before it is passed as the law of the land.
Well, I have been talking about impotent laws because in the first instance, ab initio, the text should have told others at the negotiating table that we do not want to be joined in this 70,000 wage discussion. Why? Because we have a different feeling. But I do not enjoy campaign.
After election. All right. Okay. I will leave it at that, but trust me, Mr. Salami, this was going to dominate national discourse in the days and weeks to come. Because just like you said, even when a lot of workers grudgingly accepted the 70,000 naira, that was far back in July, saying that the inflation has eaten deep into the system. Now you can imagine what their state of mind would be. But then, as I said, this is a discussion that will continue. We move on to another story, still staying with the Guardian newspaper and still talking about governance and the use of resources. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo tasked leaders on judicious use of resources. He has called on Nigerian leaders to judiciously use the country's abundant resources to develop the country, despite the economic hardship in the country. Speaking at a ceremony, the former president emphasized that Nigeria had all it needs to thrive. Echoing the sentiments of the Methodist prelate, the Ota farmer emphasized the importance of appreciating God's blessings. I think, Mr. Salami, the former president here is saying what a lot of Nigerians have said over the years. Even on this program, on this show, we have said it on the need for judicious use of resources by people in charge of different offices across the country.
Well, I will concentrate on the message and not the messenger.
Please.
The truth about it is that there are a lot of wastages going on, and the resources of the country is not being well managed and it's not well being used. If the resources were to be used for the people, we won't be where we are today. There's no way we will be where we are. We've had it. We are still having it. We are so lucky that this country has a humongous amount of money on a daily basis. What is left is for our leaders, the public office holders, to husband these resources in such a manner that most Nigerians, especially the hard-working Nigerians, will heave a sigh of relief.
I agree with you, Mr. Salami. Remember how we run our system. And if you just permit me to just paint a little picture, Mr. Salami, take a look at our ministries. The edifice that houses these headquarters of our different ministries. You begin to wonder, what do we need them for? Massive structures that are bigger than state houses in some other African countries. And we have them like that, over 40 or 50 of these buildings. Ministry of this, ministry of that. You have them 6, 7, 8-story buildings with massive rooms across. Some of them are not used. You have MDAs across the country. You have guest houses belonging to different ministries, different guest houses across the country. All these are part of the running cost. All these are manned by people, expected to be manned by staff. You have fleet of vehicles belonging to different ministries. You have numerous directors across. We were talking about cutting costs. We were talking about the Olusoye report and everything. Each week, we hear of establishment of new institutions, new university. The latest one, I think, University of Language and everything. You hear a lot, and we begin to wonder, but the people are expected to cut their clothes.
You see, the cost of governance is part of the problem we have. I am happy you mentioned that University of Language. And there is another one, Bola Ahmed Tinubu University.
That's it now.
Oh my good Lord.
That's it.
Do we really think? Do we really understand what our priorities are? Are we really ready to prioritize the people? Because the first stanza of the first paragraph of the Constitution is we, the people. Do we really count? Come on.
All
There is
right.
the need for the government to rethink.
Okay, you can join the conversation. Join us on, call us on 0903 2229797. You can also call us on 0818 2222205. Or you can also call us on 0818 2222206. Any of these numbers, just give us a call, and you can also send us a WhatsApp message, and we will be glad to react to it. Just let us know where you are calling in from. I call the numbers again: 0903 2229797 or 0818 2222205. You can also call us on 0818 2222206. All right, Mr. Salomon, let's move on to the Punch newspaper. Import duty, federal government. Okay, we have a caller here. Let's see. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hey.
Mr. Salami, good morning.
Good morning, Bode. That's Bode, right?
Yeah, this is Bode calling from your yan.
Yes, thank you so
Mr.
much.
Salami and Law, how are you people coping with the Nigerian situation? I hope you people have packed your vehicle. How are you managing to come to the office these days? No, God will see us through.
But you know, we have the never say never
We have the no dying spirit, but they are pushing us to the wall. Our never dying spirit is like it's exhausting. They are taking from us, they are not giving back to us. Nigeria is so rich but so poor. You look everywhere, there are resources. The international bodies, they should allow us be. Somebody should tell these people to be and let us be. Let us attain our potential this morning. Lord, we've been talking about this for a very long time, and nothing seems to change. It's like it's getting worse every day. Lord, on the other side, I spoke to Victor. I'm talking to you this morning now. Later in the day, I will talk to Victor. Lord, are you not also tired coming to this studio every day, not to even say something joyful? Are you not even tired? If you close down, you'll be thinking of how to go home. Where to start from? The salary you're even collecting is not taking you home. But you just mind that believing in this because we have no other place to go. If we run away, who will repair the country? But those who are leading us, why are they doing us like this? Why are they like this? After 8 years now, Baba will leave. A man who fought tooth and nail with Nadeko as a child, who witnessed it, who fight tooth and nail the military to leave so that the country will see headway. Is this what he fought for? The wife said they should give him 2 years. Where is the 2 years? No, I'm just getting tired.
All right.
Every day there are no headway.
All right, Bode.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for calling, but I'll urge you never to get tired. We can't afford to be tired about the Nigerian project. It's baby, we don't have another country to go forward, to go to. And as Nigerians, we can also contribute our own little quota by asking necessary questions about our leaders at different levels, from the council level to the local government, to the state House of Assembly, and even the state government. Let's be more interested in what is happening in our environment. Let's ask relevant questions. Let's seek to know what is happening in terms of governance and so many other issues. Let's raise critical questions. These little things can help contribute to making this country better. Mr. Salami?
I am of the view that our situation is redeemable.
Yeah.
So we should still be very optimistic about this project called Nigeria.
Exactly.
It will work.
It's true.
It will work. We believe it will work. God has not finished with this country.
Exactly. So, all right. So, you can still call us on 0903 2229797. You can also call us on 0818 2222205 or 0818 2222206. Mr. Salami, we're talking about this story. Import duties, federal government may ground 60 private jets today. The federal government, through the Nigerian Customs, will today ground over 60 private jets owned by very important persons in the country over unpaid import duty running into several billions of naira. According to documents exchanged between the NCS and the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, the enforcement exercise will commence on October the 14th, which is today. There are reports that duties are not being paid on the majority of the private jets currently in the country, with the NCS seeking to recover unpaid import duties running into several billions of naira. Mr. Salami?
There is no story here. Unpaid import duties for private jets. They will not grant anyone today. They will pay today. These people are people of means. And to shortchange government is unacceptable, not even at this level, not at this stage or at this level, not with people like this. Call it whatever you want to call it. I still very much believe that they must pay. Not even only that, instead of increasing VAT, increasing what they should pay, so that the poor can give a sigh of relief. Quite many of them have 5, 6 private jets. It is not a motorbike. Even motorbike is still expensive. They should pay. Not only pay, they should pay handsomely in such a manner that instead of increasing VAT from 7 to 10, 7.5 to 10, why don't you increase what they will pay? But those who will make the law are part of the owners. So they will not look at that. This is unfair. I believe that there is no need to hike any tariff again. Let the poor man breathe. Tax the private jet owners. Tax, if possible, our emojis who now use Rolls Royce. Tax so many other people of means and leave the poor man alone. Let the poor man live. The hardship in the land, to say the least, is unbearable.
All right. I think it's even an aberration in the first place that if you have a private jet, then you have not paid some of these things. So how did it come to this in the first place? It should be automatic. The institution should be such that when you bring in stuff like that, you know that there are bills to pay. And you pay them. If you don't, it's grounded. It's not something, just like you said, it's not something to make of a media event out of it. It should just be automatic that if you don't do this, this will fall out. This will happen at the end of the day. All right, Mr. Salami, let's move on to another story. 2 decades after inception, EFCC faces governor's legal battle. And it says 16 state governments have consolidated suit before the Supreme Court, challenging the laws establishing the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Okay, I think, remember last week, I think we saw something like this that we talked about, and I think it's just for us to wait till the court, the case is finally heard at the Supreme Court. That should be October the 22nd.
There is no way you will fight corruption and you will think corruption will not fight back. If corruption, and when corruption fights, you are in trouble because the muscle, corruption has the muscle to fight. But I still believe that the judiciary is the hope of the common man. And the judiciary, our judicial officers, they are the best you can find anywhere in the world. They know the law. They have the integrity. Don't mind whatever the politicians say about our judiciary. At the law, when it's convenient, they run back to the same judiciary that they malign. We thank God. We have a thriving, robust, and courageous judiciary. As far as I'm concerned, it's still the hope of the common man.
I'm glad you brought the angle of the politicians, Mr. Salah, because at the end of the day, over my years of covering the courts and the judiciary as a whole, you know that sometimes more than 50% of the cases you find in court are unnecessary if people do what they are supposed to do. The simple fact, electoral cases, you find that if political parties obey simple laws, especially their own laws guiding the activities of their political parties, you won't find it in court. And at the end of the day, people will start shouting, the institution, is the courts that are now electing people instead of the people. Well, the court is there. If you vote and you all agree on the process of the vote, nobody goes to court, the court is not going to say anything. But if you decide that you don't want to obey the processes, you don't want to follow the processes, and at the end of the day, all the parties do not agree on the outcome of the process, you will head to the court, and the court is bound to interpret and make decisions at the end of the day. It's as simple as that. If you don't agree on who should be your candidate, a simple thing as primaries, if you don't agree on that, and all of you rush to the court, what is the court expected to do?
The court will look at your constitution that you have given to yourself, and you must work with that document. If you do anything outside of what that document dictates, it is ultra bias, and the court will declare it so. But it's unfortunate that it's becoming increasingly. You see, it appears as if it is now the court that determines who wins election. Whereas, in same claims, it is the ballot that should decide who wins election. But what we are still saying is this: you can't do the right thing using the wrong way. If you want to do the right thing, you must use the right way. And the court will interpret the law. And the law is supreme, especially the law you have freely given
To yourself.
You must abide by it. The court will look into the processes. Due process. Did they follow due process? There is nothing like substantial compliance. It is either compliance or non-compliance. And the court will determine and declare as it finds.
Okay, Mr. Salame, let's move on to another story. Still staying with the Punch News. But meanwhile, the phone numbers are still open. You can call us now. You can call us on 0903 2229797. You can also call us on 0818 2222205 or 0818 2222206. You can also send us a WhatsApp message on any of the three numbers. Mr. Salame, the Punch newspaper, we have the story: Benin Republic, Togo owe Nigeria $5.7 million electricity debt. The international bilateral electricity customers in Benin Republic, Togo, are owing Nigeria $5.79 million for the energy consumed in the second quarter of 2024. The Electricity Regulation Commission revealed this in their latest report. Out of the $15.60 million invoice issued by the market operator between April and June, the international community. So the long and short of this, Mr. Salami, is that this huge, humongous amount of money is being owed Nigeria.
We need the money. We must recover our money. And I don't really know why we will be pregnant and loan out our, I don't want to say it. But the truth is this, we need the money. It has gotten to a level where we cannot continue to be the Father Christmas or doing charitable things with our Commonwealth. It's a different ball game. Situation has changed. We now need every kobo we can get to fix the country. They are brothers. We are always our brother's keeper. And our foreign policy, the center of our foreign policy is Afrocentrism. But even at that, we cannot loan out our cloth when it's the only one we have now. Gone are the days when we could afford to be the Father Christmas of Africa.
All right, business is business, and there's nothing to be emotional or sentimental about. Mr. Salami, let's move on to another story. Still staying with the Punch newspaper. NDLEA nabbed Thailand returnee with 3 billion naira drug, and it also seized 22 billion naira opioids. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos have arrested a Thailand returnee for importing 13.30 kilograms of heroin worth over 3 billion naira. He was arrested while attempting to smuggle out of the airport the drug concealed in 6 backpacks and then packed into 2 big suitcases. According to a statement by the agency spokesperson, Femi Babafemi, the suspect left Thailand on a Qatar Airways flight and stopped over in Doha, where he spent 2 days before heading to Lagos, while his luggage was routed to Accra, Ghana, his original destination. After arriving in Lagos on October the 5th, he contacted the airline to reroute his luggage to Nigeria so that they could pick them up as rush bags in a bid to beat security checks. However, the NDLEA officers intercepted me at the point of exit. Mr. Salami, my first question to you is that with all these daily arrests, there's hardly any day that you don't hear of arrest, and you still find culprit. This situation, I don't know. I am sometimes I get overwhelmed just reading it.
Well, that is not even the starting point. Successfully, he left Thailand. For I wouldn't know how he did it. The point remains that he successfully transported his illegal wear from the place of origin, from Thailand. He rerouted it. You could see the mastery of crime. He rerouted it, all in his bid to evade arrest or confiscation. But I thank God that we still have some agencies working and working superbly in the country. One of such is the NDLEA under the able command and leadership of retired Brigadier Buba Marwa. Lawrence, I've been telling you that everything starts with leadership. It doesn't end there. I've been telling you that if you fix it and the leadership is working, yes, you could say one man. If you think a one man cannot make the difference, sleep in a room with just one mosquito.
All right, Mrs. Salami, I get your point. Okay, let's take this call. We have a caller here. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Lord.
Good morning, buddy. You're back.
Oh, this is Buddy calling back.
Yeah.
No, you just saw what Mr. Salami said. God will bless Buba Marwa. Just like what we said. A man, leadership is all, and people will fall in place. No. Nobody know NAFDAC. I never knew NAFDAC was existing up till Dora took over. As a child growing up from 1985 up till the time Dora took over. And what happens? Today, everybody knows NAFDAC. The same thing we are saying now. Before now, it was business as usual. But when Buba came, we could see, even despite the cartels, Buba is doing everything possible, and you can see the result everywhere. That is what we are saying. It all falls on leadership. God will bless him wherever he is.
Yeah.
God will bless him wherever. For the EFC,
Oh, I think we lost Buddy there, but I think we got his message. Buddy, thank you for calling. But yes, Mr. Salami, just like you said, leadership is everything. And retired Brigadier General Buba Marwa has really set a standard, and no one can deny that fact. And you see, his leadership, and a leader is a leader. Right from when he was in Lagos State as a military administrator, he left a mark that till today, you still see, when you see certain things, you remember Keke Marwa, people will know, okay, there was a time this man was there. I remember then when we had, Operation Sweep and stuff like that. You see, leaders are like that. They leave marks anywhere they go. And if we had a lot of institutions being powered by impactful leaders, it's not just a matter of engaging in media campaign all over the place and leaving little mark. But when you, and a place, an institution as sensitive as the NDLEA, you know what it means to fight the drug barons. You know what it means to even attempt to scuttle the operations.
Lawrence, we have leaders. We have global icons. Look at what is happening in JAMB. I will be very circumspect in discussing it, but I keep on using the word, I love using that. What is happening in JAMB is visible to the blind, audible to the deaf, and perhaps tangible to the paralytic. They will tell you, yes, JAMB is not a revenue generation agency, but yes, it's an agency that we can help ourselves with the money therefrom. See what is happening in NAFDAC after Akunili. The woman there now, Professor
Adeyeye,
Mojisola Adeyeye, she's doing fantastically well. She has taken the battle to the domot or the doorstep of the fakers of drugs or the merchants of adulterated drug in such a way that they are no more comfortable. And the woman has not stopped. Every now and then, she is picking battles with our youth who have taken to drugs. You remember what she said about the sachet drink,
alcoholic drink.
That this is not acceptable. We cannot allow the future of our country to be ruined simply because we want to make money. Almost all drinks are now in sachet in such a way that it is now affordable and it is being abused.
And Mr. Samuel, predictably, when you do things like this, the fallback will be massive. A lot of people are not comfortable with the way Professor Mojisola Adeyeye is handling issues. And
how would they be comfortable? Even right in his office. As we speak, some are on strike now. It's not because the woman is not doing well. They've not accused him of anything other than because the woman has refused to cut corners. The woman has insisted that the law must be followed. Anything outside that is not legal is illegal. And the woman said, not at this age. Even when she was younger, she didn't do that. Not now. That she would not be stampeded into doing what is wrong.
Or blackmailed.
Into doing what is wrong. This is why we say that we have leaders. They are few and far between, no doubt, but we still have them. We have them, and we salute them.
We salute their courage.
We have been telling them that it's a thankless job. The country will appreciate you. A grateful country will do. And if she doesn't, God will appreciate you.
Exactly. It's a thankless job. And see, when you stand for the truth, you cannot fall for anything at all. And so when we see people like that who will damn the consequences and say, no, I stand for the truth, as Nigerians, we should say salute to people like that. And that's why on the show today, we are once again giving the thumbs up to Brigadier General Buba Marwa for his steadfastness, his leadership in the fight against drug abuse, drug trafficking, and all these other things. And also Professor Mojisola Adeyeye for also standing firm and saying that no, the right thing needs to be done at the end of the day.
And don't forget Professor Ishaq Oloyede.
Oh, Mr. Salami.
He turned 72 days ago.
Mr. Salami, Professor, you see, you can say anything about him, but you cannot question his integrity.
No, you cannot.
You cannot question his loyalty and his patriotism to the country. This is a man, his track record is there for everyone to see. It's not something that you begin to talk about from beginning. His track record is there. If you go back
University of Ilorin. When he was a vice chancellor.
University of Ilorin, you know that is
even
there.
Supreme Council.
Exactly.
When
so
he was there.
This is a man that his integrity goes ahead of him at the end of the day.
I've been saying this thing. Stand for something. For whoever does not stand for something will fall for anything. And that is not good enough. There are quite many Nigerians who are global icons, Nigerians who see public office as public trust, and they are not ready to betray it. Kudos to such people.
Exactly, and we say once again, congratulations to Professor Oloyede for his steadfastness over the years in achieving the Nigerian project. Happy birthday, sir, from Citizen FM. We say many more years ahead, and divine blessings will always be your portion.
Do you know we've been saying it, and we'll continue to say that as Citizen FM, we will be critical if there is the need to be critical. We will not be hostile. And we'll give kudos when there is need to. This is why we are saying, Professor Moji Adeyeye, thank you very much for serving this country selflessly. We appreciate you. General Buba Marwa, thank you very much. Like the K guys will say, may your days
be long. All right, Mr. Salami, I think on that note, we have to leave it at that. It's such a very interesting session. And as usual, having you to help us make sense of some of the stories here. Thank you so much, Mr. Salmon Salami, Chief Operating Officer, Citizen 93.7 FM, Abuja.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right, that's our package on the show today. We'll return tomorrow with another edition. My name is Lawrence Sumaite. Enjoy the rest of your day.